1 learners and welcome to lesson 51. My name is Danielle. Thank you for joining me today. Now, you may have joined me in lesson 50 when we discovered that a whole day is more than just the time that we are awake. Each day we have the morning, the afternoon and the evening. Each day is made up of hours and we sequenced events that often happen in a day. We matched them to the times that they happen. You may have done the home task. I'd like to share what I did. Here's my homework book. And in lesson 50, I made a schedule of what I often do in a day. So I drew a picture of myself waking up, and that's at 6 o'clock in the morning. Then I eat breakfast at 7 o'clock in the morning. I drive to work at 8 o'clock in the morning. At 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I eat my lunch. And at 6 o'clock in the evening, I often take my dog for a walk. Well done, everybody. Our learning intention today is to understand ways to tell or measure the time and to know the parts of a clock. I want you to pause the video and think, how can you tell what time it is? How did you go? What did you think of? You might have thought of finding the time on your watch or on your iPad or on the microwave. Now, I have some pictures here of time measuring tools. I wonder if you've seen any of these before. Let's take a look. So this one is a stopwatch. This is an alarm clock. Here we can see the time on a laptop. This is a different type of watch. Here we can see the time on the phone. Again, another type of watch. Have you seen one of these? Maybe in your classroom or at home? A wall clock. This is a different one. This is a sand timer. And finally, this is a tower clock. Well done. So I'd like to welcome back our friend Lenny. He'll be joining us for this lesson. Now, I'm wondering, why do we need clocks, or why do we need to know the time? I have a funny story that I'd like to share with you. It's called The Time There Was No Time. What do you think that would be like? And here's our friend Lenny on the front. Once upon a time, there was a lemur called Lenny. Lenny was very happy. He loved his sleep. He loved going to school and loved to eat food. His favourite thing was to play soccer. When Lenny was doing all of these things, he was very happy. One morning, Lenny woke up feeling very tired and grumpy. He didn't know what time he had gone to bed. He didn't know how much sleep he had actually had. Oh dear, poor Lenny. I know what it's like to feel tired and grumpy. Have you ever felt tired and grumpy before? After waking up, Lenny slowly got himself ready for school. As he was feeling so tired, he put on his school clothes, he ate his breakfast and said goodbye to his mum and dad. He walked to the bus stop to catch the bus to school. The bus usually picked him up at 8 o'clock. He waited and waited and waited. The school bus didn't arrive. Oh dear, did Lenny miss the bus? I think so. He didn't know what time it was and when the bus had passed by. Oh dear, what a problem. Lenny waited a little bit longer and then he thought he had to get to school, otherwise he'd be late for class. He didn't know what time it was. He started walking. It was a very long walk, but because Lenny was already feeling tired, it felt like an even longer walk to school. Finally, he made it to school. He noticed that everyone was already in class. Was he late for school as well? Oh dear, Lenny's day seems to be getting worse. He didn't have much sleep, missed the bus, and now he was late for school. Poor Lenny. I wonder what could have helped him to work out the time so that he knew where to be and when. Do you have any ideas? Lenny managed to stay awake for the school learning and then got excited because it was his favourite part of the day. A soccer game after school. He changed into his soccer uniform, pulled on his boots and walked onto the soccer field. He played and played and played and played and played and was getting more and more tired. Why wasn't the siren sounding? Why didn't the referee blow his whistle to the end of the game? Lenny was exhausted playing this much soccer. Then Lenny heard a sound. It was like an alarm clock. The alarm clock sound wasn't stopping. It went on and on and on. Suddenly, Lenny woke up. His alarm clock was telling him it was time to wake up and get out of bed. Hang on, was this all a dream? Did Lenny miss the bus? And was he late for school? No, it was all a dream. Phew! Lenny is so grateful for time and the ways for him to tell the time. What a funny story. So Lenny, aren't you glad that we have things like this to help us tell the time? Now, I'd like to show you two different types of clocks. This first clock is called an analog clock. Say it with me, analog clock. And this one is called a digital clock. Can you say that one? Digital clock. Now, I'd like to show you the components of the digital clock. So you can see that there are numerals on this side that indicate the hours, and there are numerals on the other side that indicate the minutes. In the middle, they are separated by a colon. Now, let's take a closer look at the analog clock. What can you see? Can you see that there are different hands on the clock? Do you know what they are called? The shorter hand is called the hour hand. The longer, more narrow hand is called the minute hand. And this red one moving really quickly is called the second hand. Now, you'll notice there are numerals around the hands. These are the numerals that indicate the time. Now, I have some labels here that I'm going to stick on our clock so that we can remember all the parts. So the first one is the minute hand. Which is the minute hand? Do you remember? Was it the shorter hand or the longer? That's right, the minute hand is the longer one. Let's place this here. Okay. Do you remember the hour hand? It's not the longer red one, it's the shorter, wider one. Let's place this here. Okay, this says time numerals. Do you remember where they were? Yeah, around. So let's place that here, next to the 10. And our final label says second hand. So that must be this one here. Let's place that here. Now, not all clocks have second hands, but this one does. So what numerals can you see on the clock? I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. Now, a little bit later, we're going to have a go at making our own clock. But first, I'd like to make a bit of a plan and have a go at drawing one first. So here I've got my clock face, and I'm going to start by writing the numerals. I'm going to start with 1. What was next? That's right, 2, 3, 4, say it with me, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. Now hang on. My clock looks a little different to this one. On this clock, the numerals are spaced evenly. Mine haven't done that. I think I need to try something else. I'm going to take this one down and try again. Okay. Let's put this one up. Now, I'm thinking this time, I know I need to spread the numerals out, so I'm going to start. I know that the 12 is right at the top in the center, so I'm going to start with that one. Okay, so let's do 12. Now, I can see that the 3 is over here. Let's do 3 next. And opposite the 12 is the 6. Let's do that. And away from the 3 is the 9. Let's do that one. Okay, now we can have a go at filling in the missing numerals. So after 12 comes 1 and then 2. After 3 comes, that's right, 4 and 5. After 6 comes 7 and 8. And after 9 is 10 and 11. That's a bit more accurate. Okay, now that we've had a chance to practice, we're going to have a go at making a clock. I'm just going to make some space. Now, over here, I have a paper plate and 2 bits of cardboard. Now, you'll notice that the cardboard are cut into 2 different sizes. Why do you think I've done that? Because this one is going to represent the minute hand, and the shorter one is going to represent, that's right, the hour hand. So now that they are ready, we need to fill in the time numerals on the clock. So, going to stick that up here, like that. Now I know that when I practiced my clock, I had to really make sure that the numerals were spread out evenly because I didn't want them to be all squashed together. So I'm going to do what I did here and start with the 12. Okay, so let's do the 1 and the 2. My paper plate is a little bit bumpy, but that's okay. 12. Then over here we did which numeral? 3. Down the bottom, opposite the 12 is going to be the 6. Across from the 3 is the 9. Okay, now let's go and fill in the gaps. After 12 is 1. And then 2. Then we have 3. After 3 is 4, and 5. Oh, that one's a bit wobbly. After 6 is 7 and 8. Then we've got 9. After 9 is 10. And finally, in between 10 and 12, we have 11. There we are. Now I'm going to place, just like this clock, I'm going to place the hands in the center. So let's put this one here and this one here. So here I've made an analog clock. Now your home task is to have a go at drawing or making your own analog clock. You might have a paper plate at home, or you might just have some paper. Now, don't forget the components of the analog clock. We have the time numerals, we have the hour hand, the minute hand, and some clocks have a second hand. I didn't put one on my clock, but you might like to. In this lesson, we explored different tools that help us to measure and tell the time. We looked at 2 different types of clocks. We looked at our analog clocks and we looked at the digital clocks. Thank you for joining me, everybody. See you next time.